Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Shaun Diaz. I am the cello faculty at the Center for Musical Arts. I'm a cellist, composer, teacher, and producer based in Boulder, Colorado. I've been playing cello since 1990 and teaching since 2004. I bring creativity, innovation, and soulful improvisation together with my decades-long technical, theoretical, and classical training. Through the synergy of experience and creativity, I seek to break through conventional boundaries, breaking expectations, and redefining what is possible for cello when I compose, perform, improvise, and teach. So today I'm giving a talk on behalf of the Music Center as well as the Colorado Music Festival. I am speaking to the Dvořák Cello Concerto today on behalf of the cellist who's performing for the festival this summer. Her name is Alisa Weilerstein, and she's performing at the historic Chautauqua Concert Hall coming up. So here's a little bit about Alisa. She's an incredible cellist, one of the foremost cellists of our time, I'd say. Known for her consummate artistry, emotional investment, and rare interpretive depth, she was recognized with the MacArthur Genius Grant Fellowship in 2011. Today, her career is truly global in scope, taking her to the most prestigious international venues for solo recitals, chamber concerts, and large concerts with big orchestras worldwide. So she's a fantastic cellist. I think you're all going to just love her performance and her interpretation of this wonderful concerto. So today I'm thrilled to take you on a journey through one of the most captivating pieces of the cello repertoire, Antonin Dvořák's Cello Concerto. This masterpiece is not just a composition, it's a reflection of deep emotions, a celebration of the human spirit, and it's a testament to the timeless power of music. So join me as we delve deeply into this extraordinary concerto and uncover its beauty and its significance. So let's talk about Antonin Dvořák. Who is this great composer that all us cellists seem to know so well? Especially those of us who have played the cello. Many of us have actually learned it. Who's Dvořák? Let's start by briefly exploring the life and influence of this composer. So born in 1841 in Bohemia, now part of the Czech Republic, Dvořák's music was deeply rooted in the folk traditions of his homeland. This was common for quite a few of the classical composers of his time and remains as an influence today. Composers of any current time are always reflecting, absorbing, and retaining the material of the folk, either street music per se, or current traditions that infiltrated through the music culture of that time. I think this is actually really important to point out, to emphasize that the connection between the era and the music that came from that era, the colorations that are brought to the craft for each individual composer as well, as it brings such an element of personalization to what we're experiencing here as listeners of these classics. So here we go. Let's talk about Dvořák. For Dvořák, his compositions are characterized by very rich melodies, colorful orchestrations, and a deep sense of natural identity, as well as his national identity that's reflected in the unique sounds of Dvořák's music. So the concerto here is going to be very reflective of his personal writing style and his national identity. So let's talk a moment about what a concerto is before we continue into too much depth. A concerto, on a basic level, is a musical composition, right? It's typically composed for a solo instrument or a small group of solo instruments, perhaps, called the soloist or soloists, accompanied by an orchestra or an ensemble. The word concerto is derived from an Italian word, which means to contend or to debate. So in a concerto, there is a dialogue between the soloist and the orchestra where they interact, complement each other, and sometimes contrast with each other. So here we go. What we're really experiencing, in a sense, is a debate between instruments. In translation, we could speak to that as a dialogue, whereas the soloist and the orchestra are in a deep musical, creative, and sonically explorative conversation. If you're ever to have spent time studying music in a master class, maybe went to a music school or took lessons, you learn that music is basically all about communication. Now, regardless of the environment or the musical context, music by its nature is always this communicative experience, right? How deep that communication goes is a direct reflection of the quality of the musical experience. The better we can translate and communicate our emotions and inner world musically, the more likely we're in attunement or in alignment with our own emotional intelligence. This, of course, is a skill, one that composers work hard to attain, and one that our soloists also engage with, right? So they're interpreting the music. And so we want to really honor that process and really speak to the communication aspect to musical expression. And not just looking at music, but expanding to all forms of expression, communication, discovery, innovation, science, and pretty much all creativity is in this arena that we're speaking to. So Alisa Weilerstein surely has her own uniquely developed and refined way of communicating. With her performance, you're experiencing yet another branch or just an extension of the creative mind, the global conscious creative mind. And in this case, it's a merging between Alisa, Dvořák, the creative director, the conductor, her teachers, mentors, colleagues, everyone involved in the process, all are engaged in this unfurling of the musical experience. So, wrapping up the concerto, concertos usually consist of several movements, each with its own distinct tempo, mood, and character. The most common structure includes 3 movements, and the Dvořák cello concerto is in 3. And so we're going to spend some time talking about each movement and the experience that you're going to get from this concerto. Throughout the concerto, the soloist, Alisa, is given the opportunity to showcase her technical prowess, her virtuosity, her expressive abilities through solo passages, cadenzas, and interactions with the orchestra. And you're going to see a lot of communication in this performance. It's going to be very dynamic. Meanwhile, the orchestra provides a rich and supportive accompaniment, adding depth, texture, and color to the musical tapestry. So, what is it about the beauty of the cello concerto? Let's talk about the genius of Dvořák and his composition here. Dvořák composed this cello concerto. It's in B minor, Opus 104. He composed it during his time actually in the United States, where he served as the director of the National Conservatory of Music in New York City. Wow. So this was born in the United States, believe it or not. It was written in 1894, a period marked by personal and professional triumphs for the composer. Despite his initial sort of lukewarm reception, the concerto over time has since become one of the cornerstones, really, of the cello repertoire, and it's admired for its technical brilliance and emotional depth, really worldwide at this point. So exploring the movements real quick, we have the Allegro. The opening movement is a grand and expansive display of just beauty and power musically. It's really bringing the cello to the limelight as an introduction to the main theme, and it's done in a very dramatic fashion. Then we have the Adagio man non troppo. The second movement is a soul-stirring Adagio brimming with melancholy and tenderness and sweetness and beauty, and you're just going to hear all those just layers of coloration and complexity to the music. It's really quite exciting. Then we have the finale. It's the Allegro moderato. The final movement bursts with incredible energy, exuberance, and it just showcases the absolute mastery of the entire piece and finishes it off in a pretty grand manner. So let's talk a little bit to the technical and musical challenges of this piece. What is Alisa up against technically? Now, I've played this concerto a few times and performed it as well. I must say it's very, very difficult. So from the demanding technical passages to the intricate interplay between soloists and orchestra, this concerto presents numerous challenges for performers. From my personal experience, having performed this concerto a handful of times, I can attest to its incredible complexity and difficulty. One has to have mastered the proficiency, truly. I mean, you have to be a master or at least very advanced to be able to play this, mastering both the left and the right hand in order to move through the piece with grace, freedom, and technical virtuosity. It's pretty demanding. Um, so before the cello even enters, we begin with a dramatic, nearly cinematic orchestral introduction. It's almost cinematic, I'd say. In fact, it very much could be described that way in our modern era. It's here that the composer hints to us some of the thematic interplay that is to come. Dvořák, if Dvořák lived today, we might just relate to his music in a sense almost like a screenplay. You know, what's this drama? What's all this incredible interchange harmonically and melodically that's bringing so much excitement and energy and emotion to our experience? One has to wonder what kind of drama Dvořák was feeling inwardly and how he was a direct conduit to expressing these deep feelings, his most intimate of emotional landscape that the listener can't help but to take on. So powerful piece of music for sure. I just love how much character comes out right out the gate, and I encourage you as a listener to delve into it with a lot of introspection at the concert, and just kind of getting a sense for the range of creative insight that's brought out through all the incredible rhythmic, melodic, and harmonic counterpoint that shines through. So take the time to relish in the details of all of the details of articulation, nuancing, note shaping, micro and macro phrases, and all the interplay that's moving through as this concerto evolves. Really enjoy the uniqueness that's brought forth by a new listening experience and a new interpretation. So our cellist, Alisa, surely has her own signature sound that she's going to bring to the table as she does her own interpretation. And it's going to be yet another personalized and unique performance of this timeless work of art. You know, for those of us who've heard it many times, it's new every time, and you just find subtle differences in each performer that bring joy and newness to every performance. Never ceases to amaze me just how many interpretations of one piece of music are possible. And certainly in classical music, that's one of our jobs as musicians when we're working in that paradigm. And truly, every decade there are surely to be advances in the refinement of musical expression. So let's talk a little bit about the opening line. I like to speak to this because I've performed it quite a few times, and just talk about it as an incredible power and a poignant statement of "Here I am," a bold B natural played with nothing less than the most immaculate, impactful tone, volume, and vibrato to launch this piece into the stratosphere of its journey into deep passion, virtuosity, and beyond. That's the first movement, you know, and if that's the first one, then the second's going to have just as much depth and gorgeous beauty to it. The second movement's an exquisite example of lyrical beauty and emotional depth. It's a marked adagio non troppo, so it's slower, and this movement provides more of a stark contrast to the lively energy of the first movement, and it's absolutely gorgeous, though. You know, being less energy doesn't necessarily mean less exciting, or you know, it can just mean perhaps more introspective and has a deeper content too that you have to really search for. So the third movement, it's a lively and spirited finale that serves as a triumphant and conclusive sort of ending, marked as an allegro moderato. The movement's characterized by its rhythmic vitality, infectious, powerful, amazing energy, and just a total joyful exuberance. It's so much fun to play this piece. So as we conclude our exploration today of this concerto, I just want to say thank you for listening. I hope you're enjoying it and you've gained a deeper appreciation for the remarkable work of art that this is. Through its soaring melodies, its poignant harmonies, and its profound emotions, the concerto speaks to the pure essence of the human experience. It reminds us of the transformative power of music and its capacity to captivate, move us, uplift us, inspire us, and to, get us to reach for the stars, really. So I hope you enjoy this historical and beautiful Chautauqua concert up by the Boulder Flatirons, and it's hope it's a sunny day for you guys and not too many thunderstorms. Peace and love to everybody. Enjoy this amazing concerto. Have a good one. Take care. Bye.